Okay, we are gonna check out my plan to bypass the structure um, permit requirement for composting. So, a camping trailer does not require a permit because it's considered a shelter, like a tent. So, it's mounted on wheels and designed for travel, and it's folding structure. So this pop-up shelter is a folding structure, and I posted the video yesterday. I got these farm solid polyurethane wheels for $17 each. I've already installed one of them, and I got 4 free pallets. So that's if I connect those all together, that'll be 80 by 86 square inches, and this is 90 by 90 or something like that. It says 7.5 feet. So how many inches is that again? 5 feet inches. Yeah, 90 inches. So that those 4 pallets will fit inside this pop-up shelter, and it comes with a wood stove jack. So I have a portable wood stove that I'm not using for camping. So I'll put it in there. I also have a silicone wood stove. What do you call it? Um, boot, a boot, because otherwise these jacks they're not fireproof. So you really need a silicone, sorry, to add to that, so it's safe. And this material is slightly insulated because it's an ice fishing shanty, so it'll stay nice and warm. So that way I will enjoy the warmth if I ever need to, when I need to, when the call of nature shows up. And it will not be in a structure because you can't, if you have anything in a structure, you need a permit for it for a composting toilet. The reason I did that is because this is a portable composting toilet, so there's no discharge, so technically I don't need a permit anyway according to the Pollution Control Agency, but based on the county dwelling standards, you would need a permit for any kind of anything in a structure for a compost toilet. So that would be an accessory structure. So this is not an accessory structure, and this is not a portable building because again, even though it's portable, it's designed for travel as moving, but it's easily movable, whereas a portable building or ready removable structure is not easily movable. It has to be like towed away. So then, as long as you're not having an address, as long as you don't stay more than 183 days, then it's not a primary residence. So it would be considered transient occupation as long as it's 6 months or less. Using a movable shelter, so that's allowed again without a permit needed. So there's no footings, there's nothing I don't need to attach it to the ground. I probably could attach it if I wanted to. I could probably just like strap it down and put some earth anchors or something. I might do that. let's see, but it wouldn't be footing, so that'd still be a tent. So I would have obviously a movable temporary shelter, not requiring any kind of permit. So this is the same. This is exactly what the DNR describes this also. If it's a portable shelter that's collapsible, does not need a license. And so if I had something on skids, then that would need a permit because that would be considered a temporary structure. So that's why I'm going this route. So here's some other bigger ice shanties that would not need a permit, even though they're on skids, but that's because they're moving them. This is because this is collapsible right here. And as long as this is under 30 inches, then it's not a structure. Here's another one. This would be not a structure, but it'd have to be put on some kind of trailer that would require a license for the trailer probably. Maybe not, depends on the size of the trailer. So, yeah, so this would be considered a temporary structure if you just left it on your land because it's not easily movable. Let's see what else. So it's the difference between what's considered a cabin and a tent or a shelter. Even though these are shelters, they're still temporary structures because they're not easily movable. So again, I have a camper. This would be considered a camper trailer because it's mounted on wheels and it's designed for travel and it's a folding structure. So I've definitely like something like this would still be considered if you're living in it, you'd have to move it every 6 months. And then you need a license to have it on the road. Well, if it's not if for it technically to be an RV, you'd have to have you'd have to get an RV permit, RV license for it. Let's see. So this was my idea. If I can just get something on wood or something on 4 wheels on wood. So those are the free pallets I got, and I could have one for the composting toilet, and then I could have one for shower also. So then I wouldn't have any structure. These are these tiny homes, but they got a special state statute passed for these because they're only allowed where you have a permanent facility nearby that they use with it as a church facility, or it could be any kind of religious facility. It could be like a mosque or a temple or something. So these will have composting toilets inside them, but they're only allowed because they have access to permanent facility. So those are still structures. They're just temporary structures because they leave them on wheels. Okay, so this gets into the whole 6-month shuffle thing that I already did a video on. And so this is like in Australia, I think they're saying, or maybe it's Australia. So you need a permit. Again, this would be the whole 6-month deal. It has to be registered as a RV to do. But if you're doing it as part of your farm work, then you do not need a permit. So that's kind of interesting. So when you look at the international laws, they're saying again, if you're doing it as farm work, then you shouldn't be evicted, even if you're living there for more than 6 months. And okay, so back to the 6 month shuffle. And this is how they built the original houses on the prairie were built out of sod, which would be a temporary structure. And so here they're having 4-inch thick insulation, and another one is 9-inch thick insulation. But since I'm having a collapsible shelter, then foldable, collapsible. Then I'm not gonna put thicker insulation, but I'll have the stove in there, so that'll work fine once I get the stove going. So I'm pretty excited that this will be the perfect. This actually fits all the definition of a shelter and not a structure. So then I can compost without needing a permit, because otherwise the government guys, they don't understand composting. So I can have my worm composting. I can do that. I don't know if I'll do that in there, but oh yeah. So one of the rules for the nearby city is that if you get a recreational dwelling, you can't spend more than 78 days a year in there. And so why is that? It's because if you take the total numbers of years, that would leave you with 283 days, which means they're making sure that you have another residence that is your primary residence somewhere else. So that's pretty sneaky, pretty interesting that they have that in there. I've never seen that anywhere else. But you can use a digital mailbox that has a street address as your permanent address. So that's what I would do. Alrighty. So, pretty excited about this. It's just a matter of understanding the ordinances, the rules, and how to avoid invoking them.